In just a second. Lijiang
Yeah.
Tower is one of our more popular maps.
Oh, yes.
What are some things that you think we're going to end up seeing here on, looks like we get Control Center here first?
So I haven't seen like too much of Cryptic, but I'm hoping there's at least one May on Control Center because I love May. So I think I don't think it'll necessarily be too crazy of a match, but I'm prepared to be surprised.
Yeah, it looks like we are not getting a May, unfortunately, but we are getting some
Oh.
interesting compositions from both sides. It looks like we are getting I don't know, just some sort of weird goats variant or something
Shadow
on the
goats.
side. Shadow goats. Ooh, interesting.
Shadow
And then
goats.
we have, it looks like a 3-2-1 comp, kind of a Shanghai comp on the side of Junkertown Jewels. Which does counter goats pretty well. So we'll see if the shadow goats changes this up a little bit. All right,
Yeah.
here we go. So it looks like Junkertown Jewels is already starting to establish themselves on the point a bit. Fiery is off to the side while we have Justice raining from above from Big Tweak. Input Name going to take Notorious out with her Bionade. Already sort of getting a huge pick here with some Battle Ana. Looks like Tantaku right now just completely shredding the enemy team. Lining up some punches and putting a lot of pressure on Notorious. They are going to back up, get out of here, and start to reestablish themselves before they attack once again. Really quick first fight here from Junkertown Jewels. They did a really good job of establishing themselves on the point. What do you think that the Cryptic has to do here in order to go against this comp?
Yeah, I really, even though the fire is putting out a lot of damage, I don't know how helpful that will be in Control Center due to the small skybox. So I think they just have to focus on taking down that Vara, and then they should be okay.
Yeah, and it looks like the Pharah was already taken out pretty early, but she does get resurrected, and they are going to have a barrage here, which is going to be a huge ultimate here, especially with how grouped up they are. So right now it looks like Big Tweak is looking for that barrage. Cryptic is starting to move forward a little bit with their own bunker. Huge EMP comes out, and the barrage is going to follow up. Gets one, and gets a ton of damage out on the rest. Takes a little bit to get Scars out. It looks like Fiery is going to put down the damage to get that. Fiery's just shooting away with that Sombra. Always love to see a good Sombra going out. Tantaku is going to be resurrected here by Arch Emblem as well. Just another huge fight for the Junkertown Jewels.
Yeah, I really think they're putting a lot of faith in Orbit on the McCree because I really think the thought process is they see the Doomfist, they see the Pharah, they see the Sombra, and they're just thinking CC them. So I think they're putting a lot of faith in Orbit right now to get picks and CC the different
And
players
Tentaku
away.
does have a Meteor Strike, but that Transcendence is going to cancel it out. Unfortunately, Tentaku will be taken out as well. Hainu comes out for Orbit, but does not get anybody. But Astro, Cooling Guy, and Orbit are going to take out the Jewels, so they are just a lot of red on the kill feed right now. The Jewels are going to have to recontest. But 99, with a lot of ults for the Junkertown Jewels, including an EMP that's probably going to come up pretty soon. So Cryptic's going to have to play this really smart if they want to maintain control at this point.
Yeah, I think they really need to have Wolfric hide. That's the best thing they can do, because the only support ultimate they have right now is their Valkyrie, so
And it looks
I think
like
they're really gonna have to
Fiery
play around
scouted
it.
that out and got a hack on Wolfric, so they know that that Valkyrie's coming out. Big Tweak is going to be taken out by Notorious. Tentaku getting a lot of punches out, but unfortunately Arch Emblem's going to be taken out. Tentaku will as well, but the EMP already comes out, so they are just going to have to fight this out. Fiery does take out one of them, and Orbit goes down as well. Notorious hooks her, but unfortunately is not able to secure that kill, but the Hold Hog does come out and is going to be slept. Notorious getting hacked as well. Wolfric does get that Valkyrie out, putting a ton of heals down. Dragons come out as well. But it looks like Junkertown Jewels are going to be taking this one. Just having to get those staggers out right now. Cooling Guy trying to recontest, but is going to be taken out. And this is going to be Junkertown Jewels on the first point.
Yeah, I think they really let Tentaku make so much space with the Doomfist that by the time they were able to do anything, they already lost one or two. So I think if Tentaku keeps on running Doomfist, then they're gonna have a problem if they can't shut him down.
Yeah, and I do appreciate that they did do a pretty good countering composition here. This was pretty much the anti-goats comp, and even though they ran, I guess, shadow goats into it, they knew immediately that they had to swap, and they did that quickly. But once that gets established on the point, it is really hard to go in for that recontest. So if Cryptic wants to win this, they're going to have to get their established on the point much earlier. It looks like that's kind of what they're going for right now. It looks like the Jewels are taking a little bit of a slower walk. Both teams are going the same direction. They are going to meet in that white room. Cryptic is kind of going to get there first, though. Orisa shields go down, and a lot of spam and shield break is going out. This is really going to be a war of attrition right now, getting some World War I up in Watchpoint Alpha. Pharah v Pharah going on in the air as well. Get that aerial battle. Big Tweak almost does take out Notorious, but Notorious is healed up by their Pocket Mercy, but it looks like we're seeing a lot of red on the kill feed right now. Can't forget about the point even with that aerial battle. Junkertown Jewels just keep losing personnel, and they are going to have to get out in order to recontest later. So Cryptic will be the first ones to take that point.
Yeah, I really think they played that correctly, where they went to the right instead of trying to play in the open where they knew the Pharah was. So I think that was the correct play by them. Especially because that Sombra and the small hallways, it's going to be a lot harder to get the poke off and get through. So I think that was a very well played.
Yeah, and it looks like Coolie Guy is just bringing out a lot of damage and shield break right now. They already have their dragons out. Tentaku does take out Orbit, so this could go the way of the Junkertown Jewels right now. That's sort of what they're hoping for. It looks like Fiery is getting close to that EMP right now too. Dragons do come out, and that is a very dangerous spot to be in for the Junkertown Jewels, as we see by the 2 picks on Tentaku and input name. Junkertown Jewels is just gonna have to back up here after those really well-placed dragons. Fortunately for the Jewels, they did not use any ultimates there, and they are coming up on a bunch. So even though Cryptic is able to maintain this point, they only have about 50% progress, so this is completely winnable for the Jewels.
Yeah, I think they really just have to play with farming that EMP and getting their barrages.
Looks like Fiery is going in place for that EMP right now. She is getting prepared. Big Tweak does not have that barrage yet, but that EMP is going to come out. Anyway, Big Tweak unfortunately taken out very quickly, and so is Fiery. Brobat is going to be booped off of the point by Notorious, so even though that was a massive EMP by Fiery, unfortunately the follow-up was not there, especially with Big Tweak getting taken out. And Cryptic is going to maintain control of this point once again.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a big fan of that EMP. I think as soon as you see your Pharah go down, I just say you save EMP, especially with what the enemy is playing. So
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
sort of done simultaneously as well, but Farah also did not have that barrage up quite yet, so there wouldn't have necessarily been that follow-up. But they still have a chance. Stranger things have happened, although they do have to touch point right now. A bunch of ultimates coming out. Big Tweak takes out their barrage, but unfortunately it is more red on the kill feed, so Junkertown Jules are going to have to play this very smart. Kool-Aid Guy's going to take out Brobat Supercharger quite soon after it gets put down. Not a lot of value on that ultimate. Notorious sort of engaging the sky battle right now. Brobat and Arch Emblem both are going to go down. With all of that red on the kill feed, this is going to be very difficult for the Jules to get back. Fiery doing her best to contest, but unfortunately it is not going to be enough here. Right now, Junkertown Jules just doing their best to get back on the point. Tentaku with the whole hog unfortunately does not really get much value, and another whole hog is going to come out from Orbit, taking Tentaku out. Big Tweak is going to go down from that Hammond as well. Arch Emblem taken out once again. Huge EMP gets nearly all of Cryptic, just Astro, the only one left unhacked, but it is going to be in vain. So Cryptic is going to take this first point here.
Yeah, I think Kool-Aid Guy played that very well. He did really well on the Hanzo. I think they did exactly what they needed to do, which was try and deny the Sombra as much ultimate charge as possible and just play around their ultimates and what they have. So I think that was played really well.
Yeah, now we are going on to our third map here on Lijiang Tower, and this really is anybody's map here. It looks like we're going to get similar compositions from before. Brobat going to stay on that Orisa. Pretty much the same composition as we saw for both teams. Arch Emblem is going to switch to Lucio here. Nope. Oh, it looks like we're getting the speed boost, and then they're going to go back to that Mercy. So they are going to try to get to point a lot faster. And let's see what happens. Looks like Junkertown Jules will be the first ones to be able to get to that point here with that extra speed. Gives them a little bit of an advantage, but certainly not lost yet. Especially with a lot of damage being taken out on Tentaku. He's going to need to get healed up immediately. Tentaku's punch is going to be stopped by that Orisa Fortify. Unfortunately, Orbit's going to take Tentaku out, and Input Nade's going to go down as well to that Justice raining from above right now. They're doing their best to maintain their control on the point, but with 2 down, this is getting more and more difficult for the Jules, but they are still holding their own. Brobat's going to go down, though, so no more shield for them. Orbit is going to take Fiery out, and this is just going to be Cryptic's point here. Looks like Big Tweak and Tentaku are starting to back off now, but they are going to be taken out and staggered a little bit, so Jules is going to have to regroup to do their recontest. Yeah,
I think they played that really well where they used their spam ability to break down the shield quicker, because Jules don't have exactly that spam, and once they break that shield, that basically forces Tentaku to try and go in and do something, which they can just punish for. So
looks like Fiery's going to take out Kool-Aid Guy, but Tentaku's going to be taken out in turn, so both teams do have similar personnel. Resurrection comes out on Kool-Aid Guy right now, so Cryptic does have the man advantage. We do have a lot of ultimates. The dragons are going to come out, breaking up that bunker, and we have the aerial batter coming out for the Pharaohs as well. Big Tweak takes out Notorious with a very well-placed direct rocket, kind of giving her a lot more room to barrage here. Big Tweak is going to send that barrage out, but is going to be hooked, but it doesn't matter. Orbit's going to go down. Nano Farah is going to be extremely dangerous here, taking everybody out. Huge plays by the Junkertown Jules here, especially Big Tweak on the Farah, able to get established on the point and contest with about 60% progress for Cryptic. Weird Meteor Strike for Tentaku there. May have been used as an escape measure.
yeah, maybe a fat finger. I don't know.
I'm going to assume it had intention behind it. And Fiery does have that EMP here and is likely going to try to use this aggressively. It looks like she is getting in position for it right now behind them. She's just being very patient right now, waiting for the right chance to do this EMP. Unfortunately, Tentaku is going to be taken out. Notorious's barrage comes out, but does not connect, and that is a huge EMP, getting a lot of Cryptic right now. So right now it's just a matter of actually getting the follow-up. Not a lot of health being taken out, though. Lack of follow-up on the EMP sort of renders it useless, and those dragons are going to take both Brobat and Arch Emblem out. Two extremely crucial characters in this composition that they're running. Fiery's out now as well, and although Big Tweak does get that barrage back up, unfortunately, this is going to mean that Cryptic is going to retake the point here.
Yeah, I think they played that really well. They have to play in that inside because of what they're playing. I don't think they should be setting up here. I think they should be playing on point because it's just better for them. The triple DPS thrives in larger spaces, so they can kind of pick people off and get different angles. But playing outside gives them more angles. Playing inside gives them less, and they have more time to prepare for what's coming.
And Junkertown Jules is going to have to hurry up and touch here. Only 2% left. Nano comes out. Tentaku is going to be taken out by Scars. Big Tweak looking for their opportunity to barrage. It gets more and more dangerous with another Pharah in play. Her barrage does get 2, however, so this is winnable for the Junkertown Jules right now. Arch Emblem brings Tentaku back. Alright, and Junkertown Jules are going to be able to stop this. They are going to be able to get this point back once Astro gets out of the picture. Takes a long time to get that Ana out. Now Junkertown Jules are going to have to play this very safe because they only have 50% contested on the point right now. Cryptic is at 99, so if they flip this point, it is a map win for Cryptic.
Yeah, and I think Cryptic wins in the ult economy right now. They're close to 2 more ults, so I think if Junkertown Jules wins this, they really have to be careful of those ults and play it correctly.
Huge barrage coming out for Notorious right now, taking out Brobat. Huge EMP, however, takes out all 6 of them, but without the key players of the Ana, there isn't much follow-up, but it looks like we are seeing a lot of blue on the kill feed. Fortunately, there is more red, though, so Junkertown Jules are going to have to play this very smart in order to maintain this. Big Tweak going to be taken out by Orbit on the Roadhog. Big recontest from Brobat on the Hammond. She's going to be taken out. Right now, the Junkertown Jules are just staggering in, trying to get as much value as they can and recontest this point, fighting until the last second. Orbit is going to pop that whole hog, sort of getting them off of their point. This is going to end up being Cryptic's map.
Nice. That was really well played. They were playing inside. They were doing exactly what they needed to do to win that map. Because if we keep seeing the 3 DPS coming out from Junkertown Jules, the Cryptic is just gonna benefit from playing inside. So I think if they keep on saying that triple DPS, they just need to keep on playing. If they're playing bunker, they just need to keep on playing inside rooms where they can't get as many
All right, this should be working now. Sorry, everybody, for the technical difficulties. Everything is just completely scuffed right now. Um, all right, so we are going to be going on to Rialto next. Looks like we're going to be seeing a lot of more wide open spaces here. A lot of interesting compositional changes that are going to be coming through as well. I'm excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, I think there's actually a really high chance that someone could get held on first if they play it correctly. So if they play the first corner correctly and then back up when they need to, I think there is a chance that someone could get held on first. So
Yeah, it's entirely possible. This map is interesting because I feel like it's one of those maps where it's still newer in a sense, so I think that there's a lot of people that generally have a lot more difficulty on this map. It's a little less practice. It's been out for long enough, but I've noticed that a lot of people tend to have difficulties with strategies and using the map to their advantage. There's a lot of weird pathing that you could take, especially on this first phase here, that people don't necessarily take advantage of. So I do tend to see a lot of full holds, or at least full holds up to the first point. It'll be interesting to see how they do, especially with this bunkering that's going on here from the Junkertown Jewels.
yeah,
like
honestly, you could even hold even closer. Just from the way the comps that they're playing, I think you could even hold even closer, almost at their spawn.
Looks like we got a lot of shield break coming out. Fiery's gonna be able to take out Kool-Aid guy with that Sombra. This is sort of gonna be, again, a war of attrition right now when we got this bunker v bunker thing going on. Tintaki missing his hook, unlucky. Lots of healing coming out as well for the Junkertown Jewels in this bunker v bunker, because once again, once that shield goes down, you're putting yourself in danger of taking on a lot of damage. Right now, it's just a matter of trying to get your bunker closer and closer to the end here. Lots of aggressive shield placement coming in from Scars right now, and I think that the Orisa's kind of underrated in this bunker v bunker. Knowing where to place those shields and knowing when to take that aggression is huge. Nano coming out on Big Tweak right now. Lots of damage being put out, but Fiery, Arch Emblem, and Big Tweak are going to go down despite this, and a barrage coming out for No Pain, taking out the rest of the Junkertown Jewels. Even though they are sleeping on the job here, they're going to take point one.
Yeah, I honestly believe that Junkertown Jewels does have the better comp. I just think Cryptic is playing better.
To put that in a more eloquent way, I think that one of the things that is working here for Cryptic is they are playing a lot more aggressively. Look at that shield placement. Now, Big Tweak's barrage is going to come out and take out their Mercy, but unfortunately there is no follow-up. Look at how the Jewels are sort of all the way back. But you can see that there's some very aggressive placement right now from Scars. So they're sort of getting up in Junkertown's face. And Junkertown really isn't responding to this in a way that they need to. So they're getting picked off very quickly. And it's making it difficult for them to actually take that space back.
Yeah.
Scars is going to be taken out by Brobat here. Brobat is going to get their bongos coming up here. Kool-Aid does take out Big Tweak, who is going to be resurrected by Arch Emblem. So Junkertown Jewels still does have the man advantage here. Fiery is going to be looking for an EMP soon as well. She has it and she is ready to use it when she needs to. Valkyrie's going to come out from Arch Emblem to keep everybody up. Looks like Fiery is getting in place for that EMP right now. Just trying to get that Pharah out of that picture. No Pain has been putting a lot of damage into the Junkertown Jewels. Orbit and Kool-Aid Guy are going to take out Brobat, Fiery. Big Tweak goes down as well. So right now the Jewels are just getting picked off slowly. Big Sleeps coming out from Input Name. Every single time they've gotten to the end of the point, we've seen at least one member of Cryptic sleeping on the job right now. So great job from Input Name here. But unfortunately, the Jewels are just going to continue to get staggered with all of this aggressive positioning that Cryptic is taking right now.
Yeah, I really think Junkertown Jewels just needs to play their ult combos. Like you can do EMP Barrage and then Nano Hog, which I think is probably the better combos. So that's why I was saying that I think they have the better comp
Yeah,
in general.
I would agree. Junkertown Jules, unfortunately, is just not playing this with a level of aggression. Fiery is going to be taken out by Kool-Aid guys, so even with those ultimates being used, Junkertown Jules are not actually getting any picks right now. Justice Reigns from above from No Pain, and Big Tweak is going to take their barrage out as well. Right now, Junkertown Jules is just sort of throwing ultimates out, but they're just not getting the value that they really need to. Huge res, however, from Arch Emblem, and that Valkyrie is going to keep everybody alive and damage boosted. So we are starting to see a lot more blue on the kill feed here. And it looks like Cryptic is finally going to back off for the first time in this map.
Yeah, I really don't agree with how Junkertown Jules used their ults right there. They used Whole Hog by itself, and then nanoed them after Whole Hog, which you could have nanoed Pharah, and then you could have built Barrage quicker and could have gotten Nano Barrage.
It was just sort of a lot of misplaced communication here, I think. And we see that Whole Hog is coming out here with the Nano boost right now. Brobat is going to go down right now. So Big Tweak, huge hook on Arch Emblem by Orbit. That is absolutely disgusting. So right now, Junkertown Jules is just fighting for their lives. They're starting to play their stall comp right now. Just trying to get as much damage as they can out on Cryptic. Cryptic is right at the end here, so they're going to be slowly pushing in more. Looks like No Pain does take out the barrage right now, which is able to connect with Big Tweak, and finally they're going to push that card in, and that's going to be a complete round one for Cryptic.
Yeah, I think Junkertown Jules' comp was really good and had a lot of combos and had a lot of synergy, but I really didn't like how they played that. They should have had set of ult combos, and like they can even be flexible with it, but I just don't think they played any of the ults correctly. They kind of just threw them together.
Yeah, and that's sort of the thing with this bunker v bunker. It's kind of the same in GOATs, where you really need to be very careful about your ultimate rotation and make sure that you're getting a lot of value out of as few ultimates as possible. Because at the end of the day, you are playing very similar comps, and it's going to be that ult rotation that really is going to win this for you. Additionally, they're just not playing this with a lot of aggression. They sort of are just hanging back a little too much. And meanwhile, Scars is placing his shields extremely aggressively, which is allowing his team to take a lot of space. And it really is similar to like a World War I trench warfare type deal, where you're just building your trench and trying to gain as much space as possible. And if they're not matching that aggression, then Cryptic's just going to be able to kind of walk all over them, and that's what we really saw here on Rialto.
Yeah, I really think I think if Fiery just builds up the EMPs quicker and they use EMP correctly, I think they win this.
Yeah, I agree. Now we're going to see if we can get that aggression here. It looks like Brobat is starting to push in and is starting to place those aggressive shields, so very good for them here. Brobat is a really good tank, and I do think that she deserves the credit. Right now it's just a little bit of a unmatched aggression, and it looks like Tantaku's going to take out Scars, so right off the bat, absolutely huge pick from Tantaku right now on the Hanzo, not even the Doomfist. And Brobat is matching that aggression that we saw from Scars on attack, so it's going to make it impossible for that Mercy to get the res on the Orisa. Without that Orisa, they could just kind of snowball here, especially now that Orbit is out. Tantaku is just kind of popping off right now with a lot of help from the team. Fiery doing a really good job here as well, and Input is the one to take out that Pharah. So Cryptic's going to have to kind of back up there. They can't even contest. Junkertown Jules just walking all over them. And we're not seeing that aggression anymore. They're just kiting back as much as they can. And Fiery already has her EMP. So she's going to be able to drop this on them very aggressively. And look at how clumped up they are too. This is going to be kind of a massive EMP here. No Pain is going to be taken out, but so is Brobat. So unless Arch is able to get that resurrection on Brobat, they are going to have to kind of sit back here. Looks like they are going to be waiting for Brobat to walk back. The EMP does come out, and so does the barrage. Scars and Kool-Aid Guy going to go down. So even though they lost Fiery to this, they are going to continue to push up. No Pain with the Big Tweak with the huge direct rockets, taking No Pain out. Just absolutely crushing them in this war of attrition that we see. I see you making fun of me in chat, Muffin. I'm not even going to get into that right now. Another barrage does come out for No Pain right now, taking out 4 of them. And the High Noon comes out as well. So Cryptic is going to be able to retake a lot of this space. But they used a lot of ultimates there. They used Nano, Valkyrie, High Noon, and Pharah Barrage. So they're kind of screwed in this ult economy right now.
Yeah, I don't think they needed Valkyrie, but I think actually using that Deadeye and the Barrage together is really good, because Deadeye can force people back, and then as they're going back, Pharah like concussions in, and so I think that's a really good combo, but I don't know if they needed Valkyrie for it.
Yeah, I don't think so either, and it does kind of put them at a disadvantage here. Because
it
right
really
now
does.
There are a lot of ultimates that could be canceled out by a well done Valkyrie, but it looks like Wolfric is hacked and going to be taken out by Tantaku. Brobat will be taken out by Kool-Aid Guy though, so this does make it difficult, but a big barrage coming out of nowhere from Big Tweak, taking out Kool-Aid Guy and the Bongo of the enemy team. So even though Orbit does get a very good hook on Big Tweak, and Big Tweak is really going to need to be healed up here. Cryptic is going to have to kite back a little bit here. Looks like Junkertown Jewels are going to be able to push this payload in and get point 2 with very few problems and a lot of ultimates on the board, still winning in this ult economy.
Yes, but I think some of these lack synergy. So I think they probably could have used Bongos just to win that instead of using Barrage. They could have saved Barrage for EMP and it would have helped synergize. But I guess they're just going to spam them down and still win.
Yep.
So.
And the big EMP coming out from Fiery, taking out everybody but Scars with that hack. So they are going to need that follow-up right now. Input does have this Nano. A big sleep on the Hog. And Fiery's going to take out Kool-Aid Guy, who was trying to High Noon. So Junkertown Jules is looking super scrappy here. They're doing an incredible job going against Cryptic, especially after that attack round, which did look extremely painful, but they're going to push that payload in, just completely roll over Cryptic.
Yeah, I think the only time Cryptic won those was when they had ultimates online, and even then they used too many.
Yeah, and it looks like Junkertown Jules is going to also have the time bank advantage here with about 45 seconds. 43 to be exact, of an advantage, which is not a small time bank differential. Those 45 seconds that could be huge.
Yeah, I think that advantage. You also get defender's advantage because then you know how far you actually have to push it, which is super helpful. So, I think if Cryptic is gonna come back and win this, I think they really have to focus on not using all their ults at once. They have to keep on looking for ult combos that they can use that fit together. Because if these teams don't coordinate ults, they're kind of screwing themselves in the long run. Because even though they win that one fight, they will lose the next one to the other team that has the ultimates.
Agreed. And I feel like this is going to be one of those fights where it's not going to be stalling the payload at point 1. They're just seeing how far they can get it in those 3 minutes. And I would not be surprised if we end up getting another round here. Looks like Kool-Aid Guy's going to be on the ball right now instead of their usual Hanzo. And they're going to disrupt this bunker right now. A really good move. Just trying to take as much space as they can. But we are not going to have that Orisa. We're running sort of, I guess, an anti-bunker here, although it does beg the question whether or not this is going to actually end up working.
Yeah, I am very confused by this ball right here. I don't exactly agree with running ball and diva, but, I mean, they're getting picks, so.
They are getting picks, and sometimes that's all that matters. Just is a composition that could be pretty vulnerable, especially since there really isn't anybody that's like Tantaku on the Doomfist is pretty much the only one that would be able to kind of counter that dive really heavily. So Junkertown Jules is going to have to figure this one out.
I actually think Fiery could chill back here and just focus on hacking the ball as soon as they go in. Like right there, how they just hacked the ball.
Yeah.
But they need to do it as a team. So. Ooh. Oh. Snap.
Huge picks from Big Tweak, and it looks like we are going to have the EMP on the board now. So this is kind of where Junkertown Jules has the chance to get their momentum back. We can see Tantaku just punching Scar's neck. Scars is going to go down.
Ooh, Fiery.
I liked the finessing the Fiery had with that translocator there.
Definitely.
Mines are going to come out, but unfortunately you're not going to get much value. It does push Junkertown Jules back a little bit, but other than that it doesn't actually do much, and that hack's going to come out on Kool-Aid Guy, so he is going to go down with Burbat.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need to do. That's exactly what they need to do every time. And then hack Farah.
Yeah,
there
that
you
was
go.
a beautiful hack on Farah from Fiery. They're using the translocator to her advantage. And Farah does have Barrage, so now they're aware and can sort of have some counterplay to that. Poor Zenyatta's going to be taken out by Tantaku here. Astro's going to go down. Justice is going to rain from above from No Pain, though, and it's going to take out two. So Junkertown Jules is actually going to have to step back here and recontest. A lot of ultimates coming out on the side of Cryptic right now. Junkertown Jules has 5 on the board. So while Cryptic is able to take a lot of space here, which is extremely important when you're in this sort of overtime situation, they're going to have to contend with 5 ultimates. So if Junkertown Jules plays this really smart, they can end it here. So it looks like they are playing patiently, trying to get just a little bit off the time bank. Big EMP comes out, takes everybody. Eventually, just trying to get Orbit down. There it goes. Everybody on Cryptic is going to be taken out by that EMP. Really good job from Fiery, with a lot of follow-up from the rest of the team. They're going to have to recontest here, but it's not going to happen. Really good ult usage here from Junkertown Jules.
Oh yeah, I think Cryptic. I don't think you run that on extra time attacks, because you don't have a lot of sustain on point, which is exactly what you need on overtime attacks. So that's why you see a lot of the bunker come out on overtime attacks for the payload maps. So I don't think that was the smartest play from them, because it's basically running dive, and no one really sits on point and dive except for one person. And if you take out that one person, you're already down a man. So that's a 5v6, which isn't good for your team. So
there also aren't that many diveable targets on the side of Junkertown Jules either. You do kind of have the healers, but Mercy is going to be with Farah, and you could dive Ana, but is it worth changing your composition around just to dive the Ana? The rest of the heroes are not very susceptible to a dive. So it sort of, I think, was a mistake by Cryptic to play that, because we also saw they didn't really have anybody that was making a lot of progress on the payload, and should they have kept in that overtime situation, they wouldn't have anybody sitting on the cart. Looks like they are going to be playing a Sombra here. I don't know if that's a scouting thing that they're doing, or if Kool-Aid Guy is actually going to play the Sombra here. Looks like he is staying on it, so he is going to be trying to get some clutch hacks here, which can be extremely valuable in this kind of situation. It'll be interesting to see how Fiery contends with this enemy Sombra.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid Guy is getting a lot of hacks on the health packs, which I don't know if that's the right move right now. It does make it so Fiery cannot hack any health packs, but that also takes your hack off of its cooldown. So I think that you need to make sure that you're using those hacks on the enemy team. Especially if you want to farm up that EMP.
Definitely, but I think the only problem I have with this Sombra on this defense against what they're playing is, what's the hack target? Like, you can hack Farah, put her on the floor, but then again you have Widow to shoot Farah out of the air. So, I mean, while they still won that fight, I think like once it gets later in the round, they're gonna struggle with finding a hack target, because there is not a crazy high value hack target in this composition right now.
Looks like Fire is able to find that translocator too, so Fiery is sort of playing this really smart right now. She isn't building up her EMP as fast as she normally does, but she is making sure that she shuts down that enemy Sombra right now. Input name is getting about halfway to their nano boost, and Brobat has their bongo, so we do have a lot of sort of offensive ultimates that are going to be able to be used soon, but Scars is going to be able to get a huge kill on Brobat. So right now, this war of attrition really is working. I'm glad that that Cryptic swapped to this bunker, because this is exactly what they need to prevent progress on the cart. Dragons do come out for Tantaku and sort of zones everybody away from the back of the cart, forcing them to be more in a line of sight, but unfortunately it is not able to secure any kills. Brobat is going to go down once again to orbit.
Yeah, unless that was a swap ult, I don't agree with that, Dragons, because yes, you split people, but you're already down. So it's like, you split people, and then you don't have enough to push.
Yeah, it looks like that was a swap ult here.
Okay.
Tantaku's going to have their Doomfist out, which very excited to see. Tantaku's Doomfist is wonderful. Looks like Fiery's ready for this EMP here, but Kool-Aid Guy has theirs as well. So Fiery's going to have to make sure that she plays this smart, because Kool-Aid Guy could easily counter EMP and shut down the value of this ultimate. Bongos are going to come out.
Hit that Lucio.
EMP is going to come out and get everybody but Kool-Aid Guy. Kool-Aid Guy's EMP comes out as well, but they're going to already be 3 down. So even though Kool-Aid Guy did get hack targets, that kind of was not a high value ultimate because there was no follow-up. So Junkertown Jules is going to be able to continue to push this.
Yeah, I think Fiery played that really well with the EMP placement, and I think Wolfric should have been hiding already. Because they should have known that EMP was coming, so they had sound barriers. So I think they needed to place their Lucio in a better spot where they wouldn't get EMP'd. Or EMPing them.
No Pain's hook there on Brobat was huge. Unfortunately, is going to take out that shield, but Arch Emblem is going to resurrect that. Scars is going to be hacked, but unfortunately no follow-up. Scars still is not going to go down. A massive anti from Input Name right now. Now, this is going to be an overtime situation. Junkertown Jules really has to start getting some picks, and they do. They do get Scars, which is massive, but they are going to have to get that follow-up. And No Pain really is just in their face right now, especially with that Nano. It's just able to get out a bunch of damage right now, and that whole hog's going to start to push everybody off of the cart. Overtime starts to tick down. They're going to have to touch, but that whole hog is going to make it impossible. Eventually, all of the jewels are going to be taken out. So after a hard-fought battle, this is going to be Cryptic's map. Do you have any responses besides that?
I mean, I think they played it well. I don't necessarily agree with how both of the teams played their ultimates, because I think they could have played the synergies like better. But at the end of the day, like Cryptic just they played it just a bit better than they played the bunker just a bit better than the Jules did. So
yeah, I agree. I think that when it is bunker v bunker, it really does again go down to that economy and just being able to make sure that it's basically just outplay the bunker, which I know is really simplistic, but I think that that's the best way to describe it. And Cryptic, even though they did have a bit of a strange second round attack, it was able to get them a lot of progress, which ended up being the reason that they were able to win that last round.
Yeah.
All right, so coming up next, we do have Volskaya Industries. What do you think we are going to end up seeing here?
I think it's just going to be more bunker. I think whoever wins this series, like Cryptic is already up, so I don't think they should ease off, but I think they should take the time to think about what they're doing more. So like think about their ultimates more, you know, but I think that also goes for the Jules, because I don't think they're using the ultimates correctly where the synergy works. So you saw with like I think it was Junkertown Jules were the they had the whole hog, they had nano, they had barrage, they had EMP, but they used whole hog, then nanoed, and then after that they used EMP, and then they hadn't built barrage quick enough
Right.
get get there. So I think Junkertown Jules can definitely come back from this if they play the ultimates smarter.
Yeah,
So
I agree. It really does come down a lot to that old economy and just making sure that you're using the correct ones.
yeah,
I
they
guess
also
we'll
just
see what
have to work.
happens.
Yeah, they also just have to pay attention to getting spammed down too quickly because I feel like that was what happened on that first point of Rialto and from the side of Cryptic.
Okay, hopefully
Yeah,
the
and that's
sound
gonna
is
be the end
working
of it.
now. Yeah, this is. Sorry for the technical difficulties for today's stream. I feel awful for this. I'm assuming that the sound is going to be working now as we're looking at this play of the game from Astro on the Ana. I just love seeing Ana play the games.
That was a huge EMP.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
a huge EMP and a
purple.
huge purple. That's what I meant. Huge purple.
Really good gameplay from Astro here.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. They should have gone goats.
They should have gone goats. I feel like that's always the moral of the story. When in doubt, go goats. Unfortunately, that is not going to be the band-aid for any issues that your team is going to face once 222 lock comes out. But moral of the story in this meta, just go goats.
Right now, use it.
Exactly.
Yes, Slambulance, especially against what they were running, it's not exactly the best thing. So, Brig Jail sucks, but someone's gotta take one for the team.
Yeah, so as we said, because we didn't have the audio, we will just sort of recap what we saw with that match here. A lot of it was just the compositions did not necessarily work for Junkertown Jules. We saw a very divey composition for the first one. So their attack was a little bit more difficult for them. And then with the defense for Cryptic on that round, they just had a very strong bunker. And when you're running a divier comp into a bunker, it can mean a lot of difficulty.
Yeah, especially
So
what bunker they were running. If it's like Genji Sombra dive, that's different, but what they were running was not exactly the most effective dive comp that they could have run against a bunker. So
yeah, and unfortunately on that attack as well, or rather the defense, Flambulance probably could have worked if they were just sort of trying to do a defense that catches them off guard, but they didn't have a full tick or anything like that. They really just had very little to contest there. So if they figure out the Slambulance, then you're kind of screwed on that. So unfortunately, Junkertown Jules just had a bit of a disadvantage going into Volskaya. But I do also want to point out that the 3-0 score that we see on this is not necessarily representative of how the maps were played. I think the Junkertown Jules was playing an extremely good game here. They were super admirable in their team play and their compositions, and honestly, it was anybody's game, especially on those first two maps. I think if they took Rialto, they probably would have had a very sort of good chance on King's Row.
yeah, and I still really think it came down to what they were playing and how they used ults, because I don't necessarily agree with how they used a lot of ults. I could say that for both teams, though, but I think Cryptic just was a little smarter with their ult economy, I guess, except for a few shaky parts on Rialto. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes that's all it comes down to. All right, so we are going to move on to everybody's favorite portion of this show. We are going to have to talk about our MVPs. We literally only have one person sitting in casting lobby right now, so I don't know how Cryptic feels about interviews. But let's talk MVPs. We don't necessarily need to interview our MVP. For those of you in chat, feel free to start spamming the name of the person that you think deserves MVP the most. But as we wait for our chat to catch up and get some votes in, why don't we discuss who we think was the most impactful on the side of Cryptic?
I'm gonna be honest. I think it was probably Kool-Aid guy on the Hanzo. I saw like when they played Gardens on the first time he played Hanzo was Gardens on Lijiang, and his Hanzo is really good, and the way they played with dragons was very well played. So I'm probably gonna give it to Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah, Kool-Aid Guy was extremely impactful. A lot of really good picks that they were able to take, especially on some of those rounds where the Jules were sort of struggling to set up their bunker. I also want to give a shout out to Scars. I think that their tank play was honestly really underrated.
Definitely.
Their aggression that they were taking on Rialto was insane with that Orisa. Just really aggressive shield placements that were placed much further up than I've usually seen Orisa players do. But I think that that aggression is sort of underrated because that means that the team, if they are following up, gets to take a lot more space than I think the Jules were prepared for. And the Jules did sort of flounder on their defense a little bit. Granted, Cryptic also kind of floundered on their defense. But I think that Scars did a really, really good job with the Orisa, and I was really impressed with that tank play.
Yeah, it was very. I like the aggressive play when it's bunker v bunker because the more space you can take is very helpful for your team in general.
Yeah.
So I think that was really well played.
Yeah. We can't forget about Astro, too. Astro on the Ana did end up getting play of the game, and I think for
It's
really
true.
good reason. Astro did a really good job, not only keeping the team alive, but some of those purples were incredibly huge.
Yeah.
We saw a couple of sleeps on ulting Faras and a lot of really clutch plays. And support players are fair. I'm going to have a little bit of bias coming out, but support players can sometimes fly under the radar because the only time that you really notice them is if they're not doing their job or they're doing their job insanely well. And we did notice that Astro
Yeah.
got some really important plays there. So I definitely am impressed with Astro's.
Huge purples.
They did a very good job.
Yep.
All right, so we do have to finalize it. Who do you think deserves the caster MVP for today?
Mm, um. Huh. That's kind of hard, but I'm I'm gonna go with Scars because
Scars.
of the yeah, I like the shield placements coming out from Scars.
All right. Well, right now we do not have Scars in the. I'll see if they want to get in the casting lobby for an interview. Right now we only have one in the lobby, so we may have to end up interviewing them. But while we wait to see if Scars ends up bringing in or bringing themselves into our lobby for an interview, let's sort of look at what the viewer MVP is going to end up being. We see a lot of spam coming out from the chat right now. Nita Burrito nominating himself, even though he's not playing.
Yes.
As is
Perfect.
the usual, I guess. Nita Burrito, no, you unfortunately cannot be MVP. It looks like a lot of people are talking about Kool-Aid, but also No Pain, the Pharah player, which
Yeah.
again sort of flew under our radars. They did a really good job as well. So we'll see what that ends up doing. Scars is in the casting lobby, so let's bring them in for an interview.
All right.
Hello, Scars. Congratulations. You are the caster MVP for today.
Oh, hello. Thank you.
You sound so thrilled. Congratulations.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I'm not a main tank player.
Really? What do you normally play?
I'm an off tank player for Cryptic.
Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
So like
normally,
sort of the same, but
yeah.
not really.
So
Yeah.
how long have you been playing Orisa for this team then?
I got back from vacation 2 hours ago, and
And they're just like, all right, Orisa.
my first game on, and I learned I was playing Orisa. So
Nice.
Oh my god. Well, your Orisa was really fantastic, and one of the things that we were talking about was the fact that your shield placements were extremely aggressive, but it ended up working out for you guys. Is this usually your play style?
with main tank, that's especially how I always played. Like whenever I played in ranked, because my friends would always get mad at me for playing too aggro as Ryan, which is why I got away from main tank. I like to go characters I can get out with, like D.Va, mainly.
Yeah, sort
Oh,
of
yeah.
making it harder to be completely hard feeding.
Yeah.
But
So I guess it just
obviously,
worked out this time.
it did, and your team did follow up, so they deserve some credit as well.
Yes.
So,
Ridiculous.
what was going through your mind in this match then, sort of going on this new hero?
I mean, I've watched a lot of gameplay of it, so I sort of know what I'm doing just from watching gameplay. And I played probably a few hours in comp of Versa.
So enough.
So yeah, enough to know what I'm doing, I guess. Yeah, I have 3 hours in all modes on Ursa.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, your
Amazing.
next match is going to be next week. You're going against Trapezoidal Earth Society. What are some reasons that we on Trapezoidal Earth Society should be absolutely terrified of your team?
Because we scrimmed you and beat you.
Oh,
Whoa, hang on a
Oh.
second.
them's fighting words.
We may have to have a rematch. I mean, we're gonna have a
Oh.
rematch next weekend, but we might have to have a scrim rematch. I think that, I'll throw out every excuse in the book if I have to. No, but you guys are terrifying, and I probably will have nightmares leading up to this match. Thank you so much for coming in for an interview. I am really excited for your next match. You guys are coming in, and you guys are just making a name for yourself super quickly. So really good job today. Your victory is well deserved. And
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thank you.
we will see you all next week. All right.
Bye.
So we do not have anybody else sitting in our casting lobby, so we are just going to wrap it up here right now. Really good job again to both teams today. It was some really exciting matchups, and both teams should be incredibly proud of their performance. And once again, thank you for tuning into our NA stream today. It was definitely one of the more scuffed ones, but Tantaku also forgot to move the camera a lot yesterday, so I'm just going to put the blame on him somehow. Just kidding, Tantaku, you're fantastic. Alright, thank you everybody so much for tuning in. We have 2 more games today. We have one at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern that is going to be between Scandals and Ramen Renegade, which should prove to be incredibly interesting and really exciting, both teams being some of the memeier ones on our server. And then at 9 p.m. tonight, we are going to see Junkertown Jules with a redemption math against Knipiak Esports, or however you pronounce that city. So if Junkertown Jules, Scandals, whichever team is playing in this 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. game, when they are eliminated from our tournament entirely. Those who win are going to be able to keep moving on for the chance to play in our finals. So although they are eliminated once, they have to be eliminated twice to be able to be completely taken out of the tourney. So these are going to be some exciting, very high stakes matchups tonight. And then once again, we will be doing this tournament again next week. We will have games at 3, 6, and 9 next Saturday and Sunday as well, including our finals, which will be Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern next week. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you are tuning in with us for the first time and you want to get in on this action, you can find the link to our Discord in our Twitch bio. If you are tuning in again because you are part of the server or you have been a longtime fan, thank you so much for tuning in once again. We really appreciate you dealing with us and dealing with our scuffed audio. We will see you guys all next time.